Hey folks, David Stewart here. Hope you guys are having a great day. Haven't made a ton of videos lately because I've been focused on other things, and I also had like a weird thing with my eye. I had iritis that, like, I had it for 2 days and then it resolved, and I had it again, went to the eye doctor, and then it just resolved again after a day. So anyway, I didn't record videos with like a weird red eye. I just took a break from that, and we'll get back to more video content production as we go here. Things did start a Substack because people had been saying, hey, you should have a Substack. So you can find that. I guess, I don't know what to call it, the inaugural series here is on corporate period in the arts. So I'll talk just kind of briefly about what the corporate period in the arts is from my point of view. Oh, music's driving me. We'll turn that down. There you go. Thank you. All right, so I'll talk a little bit about the corporate period in the arts and what that actually means, and what I mean by it, because it's a different look at the 20th century from what you're likely to get in an art history class or a music class. So if you ever take art history, or you take music history, or you take literature classes of various kinds, you will see the various artistic periods and styles that exist kind of broken down into these big periods based on the style of the music that's there, the artistic motive behind it, lots of things like that. So usually, like with music, we'll have the medieval period as this sort of extended period of slow musical development where almost all of our records are from the church. So they're records of chants, in other words. Chants that were originally transmitted directly. So like as a priest became trained to be a priest, he would learn how to chant for the divine liturgy. And then from that point, eventually those got written down, and we end up calling them Gregorian chants because that happened under Pope Gregory. But he didn't invent the style or anything. The style had been developing as part of the church for a long time. So there's a lot of focus on church stuff in the medieval because they're the ones who wrote it down. There's plenty of secular music as well. But that tends to be the focus because that's what inspires the next wave. So if you look at Renaissance music, again, it's mostly sacred music, and some secular music starts to get written down, particularly stuff that's like lute music. Then after the Renaissance, you have the Baroque. After the Baroque, you have classical. After classical, Romantic, post-Romantic, Impressionist. You probably have heard these mention of these styles or these periods before. Modern, postmodern, and whatever we're in now. And so the 20th century is usually the modern and the postmodern, and that's what you end up talking about, whether you're doing music history or you're doing art history. And one of the things that happens when students are in art history class or music history class or literature class is they get to the 20th century, and absent from discussion are all the things which they're familiar with, having lived in the 20th century. Maybe some of you weren't born in the 20th century that are watching, but anyone older than 23 at this point was born in the 20th century. And even if you weren't born in the 20th century, chances are most of the things you're familiar with started in the 20th century. But they'll be absent from literature class or music history class because they're popular. That is, they're part of popular art or pop culture. And instead, you'll focus on the modern and the postmodern, which will be things like, in the literature realm, it'll be things like Ulysses by James Joyce. You may look at postmodern literature, like really early postmodern literature like Catch-22, although that's not quite as popular, I feel like, these days as other kinds of postmodern literature like, say, Infinite Jest by David Foster Wallace. Which I don't recommend Infinite Jest, by the way. Everyone tries to read this book once, and then anyone that gets to the end of it has to do some introspection onto why they persisted in reading the book. Because I think the jest is that you read like a 1,400-page book with no story. And that's part of like postmodern approaches. But those modern and postmodern styles like, Webern to Milton Babbitt to, any of the like postmodern guys, whom I think Morton Subotnick, any of those guys are going to be really, really far away from what people normally listen to and normally enjoy. And they're really a tradition that's entirely academic. So it's cultivated and supported within this newer realm of society called the academic realm. Now, there's colleges going back hundreds of years, but the idea that there's large numbers of people who attend a university, that there's a university system which employs a large number of professors who then teach whatever knowledge the university is trying to cultivate and pass down. That's really a 20th century phenomenon as well. So you have a split. You have the stuff that gets taught at college, and then you have everything else. The things that are popular, the things you find at bookstores, the things that people associate with entertainment products. So if you go see a Marvel movie, well, those characters began as comic books, going all the way back in some cases to the golden age of comics in like the 30s and 40s. A huge number of them were made by Jack Kirby and by Stan Lee. I was going to say Christopher Lee. No, he's an actor. But Stan Lee back in the 1960s, and have continued to have their series for years. And that's not usually considered, quote, high art, even though if you look at someone like John Buscema or Jack Kirby, these are classical illustrators who actually have what would be considered a very classic approach to illustration. And what's interesting about it is that if you were to look at the art of John Buscema, I think in terms of its technique, it fits with the art of the 19th century. But it doesn't fit with the art of the postmodern, because that's about taping bananas to walls or having toilets with spikes pasted onto them as a piece of art. So the postmodern really is about like challenging the idea of art. And that's not what comics do. Comics are trying to communicate a story, right? So they are using the classic modes of art from before the 20th century. So all the stuff that you maybe like from the classical period or romantic period, if there's stuff like Wagner, all of that gets its continuation in the popular tradition, not in the academic tradition, believe it or not. Even though you think of something like orchestra music as being, fundamentally something that you would learn at the university, being a music major, you don't learn as much of it as you think. And in fact, I could say as a person with a composition degree, the focus in the 20th century tends to be on more, I guess I don't have a better word for this, but like more esoteric styles like 12th tone atonalism, Italian atonalism, stuff that just doesn't show up very much, but rather what you hear as continuing from like Gustav Holst, Gustav Mahler, Richard Wagner, Richard Strauss, all of those post-romantic geniuses, you hear them in the movie scores. They're in the pop culture realm. So what is the corporate period of art? The corporate period of art is really the entire 20th century. I usually set the beginning point at about 1915, because at that point, every kind of art is present. And then it goes to about 2015, because at that point, every kind of art has been subverted and brought out of what I call the corporate model. So the corporate model is a corporate patronage. Previous to the 20th century, the way artists survived is through patronage. That is, they had a patron of some kind. That is, an employer who paid them to make music for reasons that the employer held. So the emperor would pay a famous musician to put on an opera. The musician did not put on the opera with an opera company in some sort of corporate arrangement where they're going to make money or make royalties off it or something like that. That's a 20th century arrangement. If you think of Bach, Johann Sebastian Bach, his job was to run the music at 5 churches in Leipzig. So his job was to manage church music. He was the church music guy. That's who Bach was. His job was not to sit around writing organ toccatas and stuff like that. He wrote a lot of sacred music because that was his job to do it. Franz Joseph Haydn, who lived in it's what would be modern Germany today, but it wasn't Germany back then. We call it we call it the Holy Roman Empire, just to like save time. But he worked for a prince for most of his life, and the prince hired him directly to make orchestra music to entertain his friends and himself, and because he loved orchestra music. And Haydn would even put in parts for the prince to participate. His name slips my mind because I'm just talking off the cuff here, but I think he played the sackbut, which is a brass instrument. And anyway, he would write a part for him so that he could participate in the creation of the art. It was really, really interesting. So it wasn't created necessarily to make a profit. Now, Haydn earned a living that way, but the goal was not to make the music and then sell it to somebody else, a third party, for a profit. That's the corporate model. So in the corporate model, you have a corporation, a company, that basically hires an artist to make a mass media product, which they then sell for a profit. So if you think of music, rather than having somebody put on an opera, they would hire a musician to come in, record a record, then they would press that record into a bunch of different copies, distribute it all over the country or the world, and sell it to people for a profit. And then they'd share some of that profit with the artist in the form of royalties. They might give them an advance on those royalties. That's what an advance is. Or they might pay them after the fact with royalties. So their profit share arrangement is kind of like a dividend. They're paying the artist royalties for the art that they created, and then they distribute it. Now, the corporate model is important because having an artist, like I say, a recording artist as a profession, is not something that is really achievable prior to the 20th century. Not just because you didn't have records to record to sell, but because you needed patrons to play music, and most people were simply amateurs as far as how they approached music. They did it for fun, they did it for their own pleasure, they did it to entertain the patrons at the bar and maybe make a few dollars. They didn't make music with some goal of creating a product which was going to be sold. That's the corporate model, okay? So the corporate model is really important because there's no such thing like as a professional writer prior to the corporate model, because you needed a publishing company that could arrange all the skills and all the money necessary to make a book. And then they would get a manuscript from a writer, typeset it, edit it, put it in a book, put a cover on it, put it in bookstores, people bought it, and make a profit from it. Really hard to do that. I think the first mass media was print, for sure. But then that expands to movies, it expands to music, expands to everything else through mass media. So the 20th century, that you have this popular period in music, the corporate period, which has a corporate patronage model, where an artist works for a corporation, the corporation creates an art product, which it then sells in an attempt to get a profit. That is actually novel for the 20th century. Now, the reason it ends is because of the internet, which we're all using right now. And the internet basically allows for artists to not use a corporation anymore. They don't need corporate patronage in order to sell an art product. They can sell it directly to people who want to buy it, and that's the neo-patronage model. They can have, say, things like Patreon, where people pay them just to make the art, and the idea is not necessarily to make a profit, obviously for the artist to make a living, but there's not some idea of like make a product, sell it at a gain, net the profit, divide it up in a sort of a more classic capitalistic sense. It's still a capitalistic enterprise, but there's fewer people involved. So you may have a Patreon or something where somebody just makes YouTube videos about history or something. Things that aren't really profitable, that you can't put a history lecture on a bookshelf and then hope to sell it at a profit, but it exists because people are willing to pay for it to exist. And rather than having to have a rich lord with lots of disposable income to show off his status by hiring musicians, people, regular people, can patronize the artists that they love for a very small amount, and they're able to collectivize their resources and provide for that patronage in the same way that a corporation is a collection of resources. The advantage of corporation is that it lets you collect resources for more than one person. If you think of a publicly traded company, all that stock, all those equities that people own, that's them owning a little piece of that company. And how did they get that piece of that company? Well, somebody, when they started the company or when the company went public, it sold pieces of it to generate capital, to take money which they could then invest in capital goods like machines to have the business exist or grow. So you own a little piece of that company when you have a piece of equity. So the corporation exists to get lots of those little pieces, lots of little resources, and put them together and have, basically, it acts like one person. That's why it's called a corporation, a body. That's what corpus means. So it acts like a person and can own property like a person and can do business like a person, but it's actually the resources of many people being coordinated in a corporation. So now you can do that without having to have some sort of middleman like a publishing company that's deciding what should and shouldn't be published ahead of time. That's my intro to like the corporate period. And so you can read, I think I'm on part 5. I'll put out part 6 soon here. There's a lot to say about the corporate period, but that's the gist of it. So as we exit the corporate period, there's a lot of things that happen to make us exit the corporate period, which we'll go into on the Substack. Basically, cultural ground zero, and what will come out next, which is the corporation as a power base. Essentially, over time, I'll give you the brief Cliff Notes version that you can expect. Things like genre fiction start off in the Nash model. Nash economic model is lots of firms diversify and target different market segments to make a profit rather than trying to collect the entire market under one umbrella. Rather than trying to go for everyone, they specialize in things. Problem is, over time, companies actually conglomerate, and there's advantages to conglomeration. The main one is tax advantages, which I talk about. So over time, the strategy changes from a Nash strategy to a winner-take-all strategy, where you're trying to collect and obtain the maximum amount of market share that you can, given whatever government regulations you're up against. And so when that happens, that changes a lot of corporate incentives. So people wonder, why is there so much political messaging in corporate art now, when there didn't used to be quite as much political messaging? And the answer is because they don't really need to make as much profit. They don't care as much about profit, and there's not as much competition. When it gets sufficiently large, the corporation becomes a power unto itself, and it becomes about managing, mastering the bureaucratic motions in order to gain control over the resources of the corporation, to turn the corporation to the purposes that you want to turn it to. That's why corporations get political. That's why we have people dressed as nuns doing dildo shows in front of kids or whatever for the Dodgers. Why on earth would this huge company called the Dodgers support that? It's because it's a bureaucracy that once you manage the bureaucracy, once you master it and can get your people put into power, then you can have things like that. And it doesn't really matter if you lose money, because the individuals that work for the company don't actually lose money. They're paid a salary, and they're probably not going to get fired because the bureaucracy is so inefficient at doing that. So eventually it becomes like a little mini state, and you just gain control over the state either through revolution or other kinds of political intrigue, and then you can use that corporation to do whatever you want to do with it. That's a late stage thing. That's something that happens over time, and it's almost inevitable with the corporate system because of our tax situation. And if you want to know the specifics for the tax situation, it's really that dividends are taxed as income, capital gains are taxed at a lower rate, the capital gains rate. So the goal is always to maximize the value of the stock, to sell the stock at a profit, rather than to get a piece of the profit which you're owed by owning a piece of the company. Kind of weird, but it completely perverts the incentives of what companies do, so that they always are trying to grow larger and larger and larger until they just explode, until they utterly collapse, like Bears and Stern or something like that. Corporate collapse is part of the system when you are running a separate capital gains rate. Things grow until they explode. Doesn't have to be that way, by the way. All right. Anyway, so that's my little lecture and intro to the corporate period of art. You can check out more on my Substack. In fact, I'll link it again right now in the live chat. And I'm always happy to have feedback. I think somebody somebody wrote a big post about all of these certain specific elements from the MCU were written after Cultural Ground Zero. It's yeah, those are all the bad ones though. Right? The point of Cultural Ground Zero is not that nothing happened afterwards. It's that almost everything that you're reaching back for is prior Cultural Ground Zero. All the heroes, most of the stories are adaptations of prior to Ground Zero. And the ones that come after it, it's they're not very good. You have the gender swapped Thor stories and things like that. These aren't particularly popular. They didn't sell a lot of copies. And there's just a feeling that the art that you're going to go see is not going to be good, even though you don't have any other options for what you're going to see. Hardwick Bento says it's impossible to understand the behavior of modern corporations without understanding ESG. The thing is, ESG is a tiny piece of that puzzle. What I'm talking about is a much bigger thing. ESG is part of it, but it's really ESG would have no power if the corporations weren't staffed full of people that had ideological things and viewed the corporation as a mini state that they could use to change the world, which has been going on for a long time, honestly. My high school art teacher had a bunch of art news magazines lying around for inspiration. I flipped through some and was astounded by all the toilets and urinals featured. Yeah. It's like, well, why can't a toilet be art? It's like, well, I mean, that's part of like what was called the realist sentiment. It's like we should show things as they really are. You should describe people urinating and stuff. It's like, well, that may not be what people want, though. So, like, corporate art is about what do people want? We'll give it to them. Do you know what I mean? So that's where it really goes from. Art history class stopped around the 70s or 80s. Yeah, there's not too much to say at that point, too. How long would you say this is going on for? It really, it depends. It started in literature. This stuff has been going on in literature for like 60 years to varying degrees. But anytime there's significant conglomeration. So it was happening in the major TV networks way back in the 70s. And then you're going to get it in the 80s and 90s for sure with major conglomerates. All the way through to today. I think today you have like a maximal amount of conglomeration, but it starts happening almost immediately. I think you're looking at kind of two halves. The first half of the 20th century, it's very Nash, lots of different firms competing, and in the second half, it's a lot more conglomerated. Everything starts to merge together to make bigger and bigger companies. So it starts to ramp up over time. Eventually, any company will lose sight of its core mission with enough pressure on it to the point where it's like, why is this phone company spending its money promoting like politics in Uganda or something like that? It's like, well, it's because corporations are staffed by employees, and people don't necessarily always care about profits. They just don't, right? Anyway, let's play a game or two here. I think I was going to play Final Fantasy 15, so hopefully I can stream this pretty well here. All right. Windows Edition. Okay. Let me turn this light down. There we go. I might even put on my glasses here. Turn the mic this way. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. That's how this works. Boop, boop, boop. There we go. Beautiful. All right. I played a bunch off a stream because I can play it on my Steam Deck, so I think I loaded up a dungeon here. This is really only the second dungeon. This game actually looks pretty darn good on the PC if you're using like the 4K texture pack. It looks really good. Might even put on my glasses. I went through a bunch of trouble to get glasses, which I could talk about in another video. Turns out they started making glasses out of really bad materials a while back. So it's really hard to get glasses, say, made out of glass.
It's black in here. I got just the thing.
We need a little more volume on the game. Try to. Sorry, the dog's barking.
Looking on the bright side, maybe the cold keeps the demons at bay?
Yeah, because monsters like warmth.
Ah, sarcasm.
Let me pull up the chat. Where's the chat here?
Encased in ice,
Ooh.
waiting for something warm to pass by.
And then they jump out. There's our warm-up.
I'm attacking this dessert. I'm attacking the flan dessert.
And on we go. Right.
Down we go.
go. Oh, still haven't hit. I like how none of my friends are helping. Come on, guys, get down here and help. Thanks. Thanks for the help, guys.
So much for a little chill. I really hope we didn't come here for nothing.
Sure, there's something if we look.
Slip and slide. Oh no!
Really?
More slip and slide. I think there is a little hole here. We'll go through the hole. Kind of a little weird to like, let's explore an ice cavern in our suits. And like our little trendy gear here. Trendy teenage gear.
Let's do this. Right.
Anyway, I was talking about my glasses. I actually got glasses made out of glass, but it was very hard to get them. Alright, look at this guy.
Alright, we're done here.
Look at, oh, he's gone. He vanishes into liquid dust. Why do I keep getting like an NVIDIA box popping up here? I don't want that. Let's check this out. Ammonite fossil. Ammonites. I actually have some ammonites. Alright, let's take a look at our map here. I guess we can just go back down the slip and slide. Oh. Or go this way. Go back this way. Yeah, we're just exploring, you know, in my Italian leather shoes. This game has such a weird aesthetic. Like, you're walking around California, but there's demons that come out at night. So I guess it's a lot like California is what I'm saying. And 63 feet. I want to try this other path here.
Your tips just got frosted, dude.
Really? How's it look?
Well, he analyzed it. Alright, where's the loot? Is there loot here? Thought there was some loot here. Maybe not. Oh no, slip and slide. Don't want to go down that slip and slide yet. Oh, there's something here. Oh, my ice is full. Let's, what do I do here? Let's make some spells. We can make a spell here. Make like just a big blizzard spell. Add some lightning to it. There we go. I don't know what kind of... Let's do a potion. What does a potion do? Heal cast? Oh, sweet. Let's do that. And there we go. Craft. Okay. Probably not the best spell for the ice cave. Alright. I think most things will probably be immune. Ooh, look at this thing. It's a spider. Keep getting this like NVIDIA overlay popping up. If I can disable that. Proceed. I gotta go along the edge.
Watch your step.
No more slip-ups.
Just jump back on the stream. How have you been? I've been okay. I had a thing with my eye that's resolved now, but didn't record a lot of videos like in person because that would look weird, so I just chose to focus on writing. Alright, fire. Well, that's good. Fire's useful. Alright. Let's make a fire spell. Let's fire spell. And put a potion in there. And then let's equip it. He'll cast fire. Probably better for like the ice dungeon, you know? Supposed to go up that way. Let's figure it out.
I'm going all out. Disobedient you. You don't want to talk. All in together now.
My bros, they're just helping me out here. We're all together. Another one over here. Oh, he like one-shot him.
Let's go. Yep.
That was cool. Can't get past the C on finesse. I just have no finesse. A friendship band. Actually, I wonder if I've did I give my guys gear? Yeah. Okay. Funny that you can have like a blaze fire saber from Final Fantasy 13 here. I don't know what to put there. Oh, assassin's daggers. Let's give him the assassin's daggers. Mithril pistol, Blade of Renee. Looks pretty good. Kite shield. Okay. Circular saw. I do like that he has tools like, what's his name in Final Fantasy VI? I think that's pretty cool. Takes me back. Oh, thank you for the super chat, Zimamaru. Are you available to do a little Photoshop work on a book cover? Yes. Just send me a tell or an email, stu@dvspress.com. Simple color alterations to a completed image to reduce the color range a bit, like you suggested before. Yeah, no problem. I'll do that for you. I bought your albums to listen to on my road trip to Georgia Renaissance Festival last week, and they really complimented the damp and cloudy morning. Oh, I'm glad you liked them. Are we returning to Kern County? Yeah, we're more in like Tehachapi in this area. We've gone from like we've gone from like the high desert to like Kern County, I guess. That's a good one. Started reading the Dresden Files. I'm loving the breakneck pacing. Have you read them before? I dislike them personally. I know lots of people who like them. I don't enjoy them. They're not for me.
So, the Cleavers through here.
Most likely. Let's see for
So,
ourselves.
if you enjoy them, that's cool. I don't like them. They're not for me. Maybe I need to make another spell here. Let's use some of our lightning. The rest of this stuff up. Edgar, yeah. The suit is very stretchy. I mean, I actually have a suit that was one of its things back when they were selling really skinnier suits. It's like, it's stretchable. It stretches. Now I kind of think like the skinny suits are a little out of style, maybe. Like, this is a very kind of fitted suit. I think this style. But in the 90s, it was like these big baggy suits, you know? Man, he's me. Actually, I changed the technique for him. She got that other technique. Let's go to techniques. I think it's gear. Tempest. Royal Guard. Let's try that for a bit.
I'm dying of thirst here.
I'm starving to death.
And yet we're all very much alive.
I think the voice of Ignis is it's from Final Fantasy 12.
We're catching cold.
What am I thinking of?
Here we go.
Okay, guys. Okay, you guys go away so that I can click on this, please. Further regarding music, a Celtic band whom I happen to love shoehorned the alphabet crowd into Memorial Day because not all soldiers wear boots, some wear glitter and lights. It was very cringe. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Gotta be, right?
A lot of that stuff, even if it's like, pro soldier stuff, it comes off as very cringe to me because it's very patronizing. It's kind of like you do it to gain some little social claps. You don't really feel it or care about it,
Hey. Knock, knock.
We're there.
Can it ever be easy?
Never.
Oh, Mind Flayer, dude. We got a Cthulhu boss in here.
No. Back me up.
It looks pretty cool. Oh, there's 2 mind flayers. Alright, we killed one of them. Oh, there's a bunch of them now. Oh, I don't know what this is. A high potion. There we go. I think this is like a distract spell. Oh, I'm confused. I'm going backwards. Let's see. Let's see if I can use a potion on Pronto. I got an A in finesse that time. All I had to do was like be bad. Further, okay, what was it? Hey David, a drink with Cozy's trying to find you so he can invite you on his chat. He promotes indie books, and I recommend you and Brian Niemeyer. Okay. I don't know who he is yet. I'm sorry. They a progress flag you could write a loved one's name on. If they really wanted to shitlord, I'd have written David Reamer or the kids killed by Audrey Manning. But I also marched a lap around the festival with like 7 other costume crusaders, and that was based in Epic. That sounds like fun. Alright. That was the boss, I guess. We killed a boss. Alright. Getting Worf's sword here from Star Trek, it looks like. The PC version for this game, by the way, has an extra. You can download the 4K texture pack. It's an extra like 70 gigs of textures. Crazy. Noctis can conjure the Armiger, his arsenal of royal arms, when the circular Armiger bar is full. The bar fills as Noctis attacks and defends, and all his abilities are strengthened while the royal arms are active. The Armiger Nexus has been added to the Astral Sphere. Send AP to power up your arsenal of royal arms. Okay. Swords of the Wanderer. Cool little room. Return to the entrance, yes. I'm glad that they have this thing that's like, you don't want to leave now, you don't want to walk out, right? It's like, yeah, let's leave. Let's do it.
Burning. A meteor? You saw the disk of Kothis. Let's make our way back to Lestalem.
Yeah, got
70
report
gigs.
Falcon.
Yeah, I miss the days where you could just put a disc in and play. I found that the Crisis disc from 2007, you can put it in and play it. Yeah, you can put it in and play it. It's wild. Fabled Waterfall Cave, tucked away behind Calatine's Plunge. The waters spilling forth from Loch Threassess conceal congealed caverns whose winding halls have vexed many an adventurer hoping to plumb their depths. The legendary sword connected to the royal family is said to slumber within the recesses of the cave, but its existence has not yet been confirmed. Although countless hunters have attempted to follow up on these rumors, the monstrous Midgardsormr slithering around outside the grotto has served as a strong deterrent. Wait, is there a dragon? I didn't see one on the way in. It is nighttime, so the demons are out on the road at night in this game. The game really does look good. It was made in 2016, but like just just like upping texture quality can make stuff look really good. Uh-oh.
This one's no joke.
Got some crabs here. Oh my gosh, there's a bunch of them. Put in some spells. There we go. A little distract here. Confuse him a little bit.
What did you expect?
It's a pretty epic music for like just a random battle. That sounded great. It was some great music. Oh, thank you for the super chat. Found your channel randomly via Oblivion Efficient Leveling Guide. Have you ever played Final Fantasy Tactics or Final Fantasy VIII? Those are my favorite nostalgia Final Fantasy games. Final Fantasy Tactics is definitely like a top 10 game for me. It's one of my favorite games of all time. I may do a playthrough of it on the channel at some point, but it's a long game and battles take a long time, and it's especially if you're playing the War of the Lions version, it can be hard. It can be a hard game, but it's definitely one of my favorites. It's one of my favorite games as far as combining story with just great gameplay and having it all kind of gel together. I really do love Final Fantasy Tactics. I never finished Final Fantasy VIII, but that's not necessarily that I dislike it. Hold on, let's take a look at my quests here. I will go back there. Go to return to... I guess we could return to the rest point. Yeah. Gollum is nearly 100 gigs and ugly and buggy and unplayable. I find it funny because I bought like a 1/2 terabyte card for my PS Vita, and I can't fill it up. I can't fill it up.
Damn,
You know?
this is hot.
Just take your shirt off.
Like you? No way.
What, too embarrassed to show your scrawny body?
Hey, I got muscle. You just can't see it.
If you say so.
All right, let's go ahead. We'll turn in the quest and we'll come back and rest.
Prince Noctis! Welcome back.
Oh, I walked to the exit and here I am.
Well.
Oh yeah, ninja like really overpowered classes. Yeah, there's oh man, what was the class? Mimic. If you could unlock Mimic, it was insane. There's some really hard battles in Final Fantasy Tactics. Really hard. But it's definitely one of my favorite games.
We owe you, Talcott.
You're welcome.
I should play through 8. I hadn't ever finished this game, so I'm actually enjoying this game quite a bit. This game definitely grew on me because the gameplay is really fun.
What's the matter? You alright?
He'll be fine, don't worry. But we ought to take a closer look at this so-called disc.
Then look no further than the Outlook. We can use the viewer things.
No substitute for being on site, but it will be a start. Let's see what we can glean of Nock's condition.
Yeah, I have the 8 remaster on Steam. And I have it... I have the PS Classics one too, I think. So... Head to the Outlook. Oh, is it already day again? Yeah. We want to save up our XP, I think, if we can. Then we'll rest, and if you can save up your XP and then like rest at an inn, you get like a big bonus to it. Is this guy, Arden? Here he is.
What a coincidence. I'm not so sure it is.
Aren't nursery rhymes curious things? Like this one. From the deep, the Archean calls. Yet on deaf ears the god's tongue falls. The king made to kneel in pain, he crawls.
So how do we keep him on his feet?
You need only heed the call. Visit the Archean and hear his plea. I can take you.
We in?
I don't know. We take a ride?
But watch our backs.
Fair enough. Let's do it.
I not want to stand on ceremony, but such an occasion calls for an introduction. Please call me Arden. Come with me to the car park. That's where I left my automobile. She's a
So-
dear old thing.
Thought-
Pales next to your regalia, but she's never let me down. So we take 2 vehicles, a convoy of sorts, shall we?
Thoughts on Dark Souls games? I enjoyed them. I've never finished Dark Souls. I like Demon Souls quite a bit. And actually, the Demon Souls remake, if you didn't play the first one, even if you did, and you're wanting to replay the game, it's actually a really close remake. I don't know what you guys think about that, but it is a very close remake. I don't think Dark Souls has bad game design, but it's a design that it simply is, and then it's up to the player to figure out how to adjust to it. If that makes any sense, you know. It's like World of Warcraft, they put a mob in a field. Is it bad game design if the mob can kill you? It's like, no, you have to figure out how to adjust to that. Is it bad game design that like you have a mob that can just roll up and one-shot you? Well, no, you have to learn to avoid that.
All set?
Let's go.
Allow me to do the honor of assigning your driver. I choose you.
I don't know what to do here. I guess I'll take the wheel.
Fine by me.
One thing I don't like about this game, and I don't know if y'all can see it on the stream. But there's a lot of chromatic aberration effect. And I'm wondering if there's a way to get that
You drive
off
your
of here.
car and I
I do not like the chromatic aberration effect. I haven't played Evil Within. I haven't played Evil Within. No. Probably should. I've had some friends who really liked it. So this is the thing. And when it takes pictures on another device, it just shows up as black. See? It's just black. I kind of like the like random screenshots. Like this looks kind of cool with the crab in the background. You know, we could save that. You know, this crab. The flan. I don't even know what's happening here. The Mind Flayer. Hey, you gotta get the you gotta save the selfie. Look at this psycho appearance of him. Having a super strong monster spawned by completing a quest chain in the form of Stitches and Duskwood was terrific game design, and it sucks they don't do games like that anymore. How about more Ladine? Like the quest that just starts from like a hand sticking out of the grave, like a ring on the grave. Man, stuff was awesome.
Just to be clear, this isn't a race, it is a chase. You're not to pass me. Lose sight of me, and you'll lose your way. And no tailgating. An accident will spoil the trip.
All right. Let's hit the road already.
As you wish. Drive safely now.
First Galton and then Lestalin. What a coincidence, huh?
Way too convenient to be a coincidence. I reckon he's following us around.
But to what end? That question bothers me deeply, as does his origin.
It's hard for me to picture that guy in the Empire.
But it's even harder to imagine him as a Lucian.
I'd sooner not rely on him.
But he may be our only way in to the Disc of Cauthus.
What's His Highness's opinion of this Arden?
Don't really have one. He's nothing more than a creepy old dude to me.
You hit the nail on the head right there.
Well, that's why we came up with a plan.
Gotta watch our backs the whole way.
Not bad scenery, you know?
Knocked. How are the headaches?
But it does look like
But they come
Tehachapi,
away.
California.
Wouldn't want to have one behind the wheel.
Stop if you need to, all right?
So, any havens along the way?
Oh, somebody wants to camp. Somebody else wants a proper bed.
Nice firm ground's much better for your back.
We'll play for a few more minutes before I call the stream.
I like camping so much.
Under the stars and one with nature. What's not to like? Now in the wild, there are no rules to follow. No checkout time.
I dare say you had knocked with no checkout.
What say we call it a day here?
What say we continue on to Cauthus?
The Archaeo's not going anywhere.
Neither are we under your stewardship.
So we make camp with Arden.
Hell no.
David, can I get your email address again? STU
Oh, I'm afraid I
at dvspress.com.
for the outdoors. I shall foot the bill, so let us stay at the caravan over yonder.
I'll type it in chat. I don't care if it's in chat. It's my like business email, so. Almost all modern games are actually just about you running from one point to another point on the map. I don't know if I will do a stream on Saturday.
It's kind of early, isn't it?
It's cool.
Look at that, I got D's. 1.0.
Well, if it isn't yours truly.
If you'd rather not be in photos.
Oh, I don't mind at all. Snap away for His Highness's collection.
Blow the beast whistle to summon enemy combatants. R2 plus this whistle summons enemies. Okay. I got a beast whistle. Okay.
While I'm still young, my blood is true. As my mother before me, I will work to bring peace to one and all. That marks the ascension of the youngest oracle in history. Is it hard giving blessings? It would be selfish of me to complain.
I hope she's okay, wherever she's headed.
Please, set your heart at rest.
This was a funny criticism of Final Fantasy 13.
Your suffering.
They're like, it's linear. It's like, you know, modern games are linear. They just have an illusion of an open world. Just walking from point A to point B in an empty world is still linear, guys. It's still a linear experience. You're only breaking out a linear if you're doing something more like Morrowind.
Deliver us from darkness blight. That is all I can do for now. But trust that relief will come in a matter of days.
It's a miracle.
Like, this is still a linear game. It just has lots of side quests. You know, you can't just abandon the main quest and go do something else. Like in an Elder Scrolls game.
Lady Luna Freya. I left it dawn to
And I guess that's true about, like, the Zelda games, too. They are open world, the new ones.
fair bit, but more grateful than anything.
But they aren't...
Matters begin at
They aren't truly like an RPG where you can just walk off and do something different.
We should have done more, like taking her in. Damn right. She could have bunked at my place. Or mine. I'm sure the missus would understand.
Don't think being married will give you an excuse not to work out.
That came out of nowhere.
You can't just let yourself go with the eyes of the world on you.
I don't know about that. He seems to have pulled it off so far.
What does that mean?
All the more reason he needs to clean up his act now.
Feel sorry for Lady Luna Freya if he doesn't.
He's got you there, Noct. Everyone would be like, oh, she could do so much better than him.
What does the Oracle need the prince for anyway?
This banter doesn't seem to make sense.
Imagination run wild.
Because everyone thinks she's dead right now. A little weird. Some weird banter there. She need to refuel. By the way, did you start Attack on Titan? I watched some of it, like the dub, years ago, and I didn't like it, so I probably won't watch it. I mean, it's not that I think it's bad, but I don't have a lot of time to watch things like TV series. My time is just too short for that, and I have stronger time preferences for. You know, I would probably rather read the manga at this point than watch the series. Because the series will tend to pace me a certain way. I could get through more story with the manga a lot faster than with something like
What can I do for you?
buy a couple potions.
Thank you kindly. Thank you.
You know, versus something with like a,
I
you know,
should warn you, we're about to
TV
pass the
series.
point of no return. I trust you're not having any second thoughts.
like how many total like hours of Attack on Titan are there? Because those are hours of my life that I don't necessarily want to spend. Do you know what I mean? That's not even me saying it's bad or that I even think it's bad. That's just a lot of hours to invest in something. A lot. You know, I could use those hours doing something else. Remodeling my garage or something. Follow his car once more.
Whoever thought of tapping into the meteor's power was a genius.
Go near that thing?
They harvest fragments found nearby, pieces that broke off when the meteor fell.
Came up with
Almost
Arden's
precious
car,
enough
the game will
for
end.
The Archean caught it.
And he's still there, holding the thing up.
Guess he never misses leg day.
Or any day for that matter.
His unceasing toil and the meteor's might form the tenets of worship for the locals of the sky.
Makes you wonder what it's like down there at his feet.
Sinister music here.
So you know it's hot where we're going. Will the camera fare all right?
As long as I avoid open flames, it should be okay. I think.
We don't have a spare if it breaks.
Leave it in the car? Oh no, I'm taking it. Not every day you get up close and personal with the Archean. I'd kick myself if I missed the photo op.
Spoken like a true photographer.
As they say, better to try and fail than never to try at all.
Look at you.
Well, they say that. Not me.
Well, you just do what you gotta.
Hey, Iggy, can your glasses take the heat?
Well, I don't see why they shouldn't.
Even if they couldn't, he'd still be alright.
Yeah, Iggy's eyes ain't that bad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my vision is passable without corrective lenses.
Then why not take them off sometimes?
Well, you don't get it, huh?
Ignis likes his world to be crystal clear.
Indeed, I've never been one for ambiguity.
This is actually pretty good little banter here.
I think I'm getting the picture now.
You know, this is actually not bad little character banter. I'm somewhat impressed.
Hey, Ignis. How's it feel being away from the wheel?
Positively frightening.
What are you saying?
That I'm no stranger to His Highness's driving habits.
Appreciate the confidence.
Read a book. It'll take your mind off it.
I'd rather keep my eyes on the road for now, thank you.
I guess nothing can take your mind off Nox driving.
Will you?
Better not be a setup.
Have I given you reason to doubt me?
You don't really inspire confidence.
Yeah, not very straightforward.
Hello, it's me. Be so kind as to open up.
Wow, that worked.
I may not look like much, but I do have some influence. Aren't you glad we came?
Hey, what's up, Shepard?
Your audience with divinity lies ahead.
You're leaving?
I drop you at the Archean's open door, and with that, bid you farewell.
What is this? I'm sorry, I'm checking chat, not playing here. Miss the days of linear, straightforward games. I do too. You know, modern games are quote free, but they lack direction and focus. It works well for some games, but not for most of them. You have to have a lot of content in there. That's kind of my complaint about the Zelda games. Is like they're just fairly empty. You know, you're kind of going from point A to point B at best, with a lot of nothing in between. And the best course of action is to not engage any monsters in between objectives. That's just kind of a sad thing. That's the optimal. You quickly realize that's the optimal way to play, is just to avoid any kind of encounter. You just get so few rewards for it. If you don't get a reward for it, then it's really a punishment because you've wasted your time. Diablo 4 coming out next week is a completely depressing reminder of how awful the games industry is and how terrible the direction is it's heading towards. So yeah, rave reviews coming in for Diablo 4, and I guarantee you once people get their hands on it, it's going to suck.
I hope we never meet that one again.
People are going to be like, this is bad. It's going to be Diablo 3 all over again. You know? Blizzard's a worse company than it was when it came out with Diablo 3. Diablo 3 was kind of a crap show, you know? So I anticipate Diablo 4 will be very, not only like bad gameplay, but also just really, I don't know what the word is, you know? It's going to be political, put it that way. My parents and I need to move, found a good house that are having some complications regarding the deal to rent it. Any prayers would be appreciated. There you go. Find someone to rent the house. Need to be able to rent a house. Whoa. I don't want to crash my car. I could tell One Piece fans the same thing about time management. There's no way I'm watching 1,000+ hours of anything, no matter how good.
So we keep going this way.
Then we'll find out what the Empire's up to.
I do like watching an artist's skill develop. Look at Kintaro Miura. Like, those first issues he did of Berserk compared to like when he really hit his stride in like volume 8. It's insane how much he grew, and like the kinds of Baroque complexities he would just put into a regular panel.
These ruins.
Just because. It's really pretty insane. Yeah, I'm very... I would have forgotten that Diablo 4 was even coming out if people weren't chatting about it, you know?
Would be a shame not to grab that power, Hey, Highness.
Let's grab it and go.
Alright, what do we got here? Another sword. Oh, it stabbed it. It stabbed me. I'm stabbed. Like Dracula and Netflix Castlevania all over. You can't decide if Lilith is going to be a girl boss you root for or like a villain.
This one's huge.
Get away! Quickly!
The Netflix Castlevania is one of the worst things I've ever seen. Certainly one of the worst adaptations I'd ever seen in any medium. Very cringy writing. Some of the worst writing I've ever seen.
I gotcha.
Or heard, you know.
Come on, pull yourself up.
Just a terrible adaptation of Castlevania. If I could hit every modern writing trope. We gotta give the protagonist a flaw. Let's make him an alcoholic. The bad guy's really the good guy, and the bad guy isn't that bad. He just was mistreated, and bad religion, Christianity bad. Titan. Whoa.
Damn. This is the Archean?
Seems we woke the big guy up.
It's pretty cool.
To tell me something. But what?
Not! You okay?
If that happens, you're safe. Is there a way back up?
No, but there's a path. Gonna see where it leads.
You two try to get down.
Very well. We'll look for a way. Be careful now.
You too.
What? We're going where?
Find a way forward.
Off on your own, huh?
Don't get left behind.
Wise guy.
Dogs barking. Alright, I'm gonna only stream for a couple more minutes.
They're on edge.
I think here.
Let's not ruffle their feathers anymore.
Try
'Cause this is really cool, but I do need to get going.
Yeah.
Stop at about 8:30. The flames spurting forth cause characters to overheat and gradually lose HP. Alright. Should be spread. There we go. We got him. Is there something else attacking me? Oh, yeah, I see it. Oh, it disappeared. Well, we got that one. No mercy.
Woozy.
How the hell does it get this hot? It feels like I'm about to combust.
Some lighting here. Let's make some. Can I... There we go. Elemancy. Let's make something here. I don't know. We'll combine lightning. And some fire. And a potion. We'll do 3 of those. Craft it. My pets are super noisy today. Very noisy pets. Sharp tail feathers. Alright. This way? Alright. Wait. There's something here? Oh, wait. This was the way to go.
Hey, over here.
Proceed.
No room for error here.
I just lost my other window here.
Make it quick.
There it is. He's not hungry, he's senile. He's like 18 years old.
Be over.
Move.
Again. Of all the times. Let's hurry the hell across. Knox, you doing all right?
I'm going to be traveling when Final Fantasy 16 launches.
What now?
I'm going to be in California.
Hey! Titan! What's the big idea? Save it. Get to solid ground first. Faster! Calm down. I'm going as fast as I can.
He's trying to grab me. He's trying to grab me. I keep losing this window. This keeps disappearing.
Hurry!
I can't see chat right now, so.
Welcome. Hate to see how he treats intruders.
You want to talk? So do I.
Glad the feeling's mutual. Let's move.
Find a way forward. Mega Phoenix. Oh, more lightning. Even more fire. Can I make more spells? Need like another one here. Yeah. Let's do this one. Just use up a bunch of this. 60.
I'm sick of this endless walking.
I'm sick of your endless whining. Calm the hell down.
Get off my back.
Are you a man of royal blood, or aren't you?
This is like some interesting melodrama they just like hammered in here.
I couldn't forget it if I tried. What about it?
We just need to add some drama here.
But you gotta know something. You're not the only one who's having a tough time. We're all on edge.
We need some.
We are the king's sworn shields.
We need some expositional dialogue here.
That's the way it's always been. I've embraced my duty, and I take pride in it.
Could have set this up a lot better, so it'd be a lot less
When you
cringy
can't focus,
and out of
I
nowhere.
focus for you. It's my job, so let me do it. All right.
All right.
Where's my chat? Sent you the email. All right, I'll check when I can. Gladio's words lit a fire in Noctis' heart. Now riled, Noctis' strength has increased by 50%. Wow. What was I? This morning I saw a derpy Ghidorah meme where Curse of Darkness and Mirror of Fate Trevor's were serious heads and Netflix Trevor was the derpy head. The cat gets paranoid whenever he hears meowing through the speakers. My cat loses track of where he is. He like literally is like, where is everybody?
And remember, don't rush ahead on your own.
Hey, Gladio. Your dad, huh? I'm grateful to him.
Just doing his job. But isn't that your phone?
Check my iPhone here.
Ignis.
Yes, sir. Good. Listen, Imperial troops are...
Got cut off.
Little robot
Sounds
troops.
like we're about to have Imperial company.
It's about to get even hotter in here.
Oh, even more fire. Mega potion.
We finally made it.
I know.
I gotta kill this guy. There we go. Debased silver piece. Left over from Rome. Look at this guy. He's cool looking. Alright, he's gonna talk to me. Talk to me, brother.
Hey! I'm here!
Sounds like he's saying, Me gusta tacos.
The hell is it you want? Quit screwing with my head! You gotta be kidding me.
Fend for your life, okay.
Serious? Looks like I've got no choice.
Are you alright?
I owe you one.
Have you ever seen Bambi Meets Godzilla? No.
Best advice you've given all day.
Well, I can't have you dying here. Come on.
Ouch.
We're sitting ducks here. Hurry!
Yeah, don't need to tell me.
Okay.
Over here. Go, go.
Damn it.
Don't stop. Run!
He just won't quit.
Gladio, hurry! I can't keep this up.
Carry Titan's attacks. Okay, let's try this out. Oh, that was easier than I thought it would be. Now, do I hold the square? Let's find out.
Take any more of this crap.
There we go. Ouch. Alright, what do I need to do here? This is gonna take a while here.
Did you miss us?
Kinda hard to see this thing. Let's see what's going on here. What's happening here? When Armiger is active, Noctis can deplete the rest of the Armiger bar to perform the Armiger Chain, a powerful joint attack with his friends. The more energy left in the bar, the more powerful the attack becomes.
We're all here. Let's do it.
This is quite the boss fight. I'm not sure who I'm supposed to be killing. But, you know, years of World of Warcraft have taught me to kill ads first, so that's kind of what I'm doing here. I guess maybe I have to kill these guys? I'm not sure. Alright. It's some pretty epic music here too. Quite sure what I'm supposed to do here, you know? I don't know, I guess I'm supposed to kill ads here. I mean, there's lots of them, so I should probably kill them. Can't really see his hand very good here. Ignis and Prompto have a trick up their sleeves. Blizzara. Team up to damage Titan and put their plans into action. Okay.
Game's up.
You're out.
Well, I used my Blizzard spell and it blew up his arm. That was cool. That was actually a pretty cool boss fight.
We all still here?
Yep, still here.
If a little battered.
I got an A on the finesse, but a D on time.
What? What is it now?
What is he doing?
He's winding up.
The big one!
My controller's going crazy. Now what's going on?
That was Luna. You spoke with her. That's why.
Yeah, this series has definitely taken some strange turns over the last decade and a half. That's for sure. But honestly, all of the elements that are in here, besides like the obvious modern cars, were present in the first Final Fantasy game. So it's really not that out of bounds. Like there was robots and aliens in the first one. The very first game had that stuff, had the sci-fi elements. So
The Empire. Now?
I think it's less crazy than it seems. I think people remember Final Fantasy IV being primarily like medieval fantasy, and they forget like that you went to the moon stuff. You know?
I never formally introduced myself. Izunia! Arden Izunia.
Imperial Chancellors, yeah?
At your service, and more importantly, to your aid. I guarantee your safe passage. Though you're always welcome to take your chances down there. Buried among the rubble, is it?
Dying here is not an option. We have no choice, Noct.
No.
Noctis acquired the Mark of the Archean, a symbol of Titan's favor. I'm gonna call it after this. It's been an hour and a half. It's cool, man. We got a cool boss fight. That was a lot of fun. I'm still only level 3 fishing. Prompto's blasting past us. It's not a good selfie. Sometimes I'll comment on these. It's actually a pretty cool little shot there. Let's save that one. Yeah. It's a good screenshot. Trying to think how you could have cars in medieval fantasy setting without world breaking over the convenience or becoming Mad Max. Well, this one is like, you know, I mean, you had horses, so they have chocobos instead of horses, you know, but yeah, cars are amazing. So this one has cars, but it's basically a modern setting with fantasy stuff added to it.
Found you, boys.
And what will you do with us now?
Why, grant you safe passage, just as I said.
Pretty generous offer for an Imperial.
Calm now. Is it fair to begrudge a man the circumstances of his birth?
Well, no. I guess not.
So, what do we do after he drops us off?
Go get the car. Can't leave her unattended for long. Chancellor, If you truly wish to aid us in our efforts, then I request you release us this instant.
This instant? It's a long way down. Perhaps the army could break your fall. Or perhaps you could simply sit back and enjoy the ride. You needn't worry. You're in good hands with me. Here's hoping you find that car of yours.
Several days later. 2 hours later.
issued the following statement regarding the Imperial blockades across the region.
We believe the insurgents behind the Citadel attack have taken refuge.
I like this guy's got a Tommy gun with like chainmail.
I realize
It's actually kind of cool.
it's imposed upon the citizenry, but we must each do our part for the good of all.
The High Commander also stressed the Imperial Army would continue its recovery efforts in the Crown City. The frequent quakes which rocked the Sky and Clean regions in recent days have finally quieted. In response, the Empire provided the following comment.
The cause of the tremors was the Archean, who had awakened in a fit of rage. The Imperial Army took swift action and laid the unruly giant to rest, thus averting disaster.
Eyewitness reports confirm Titan has disappeared from the Disc of Caucasus.
I still can't believe it. I mean, shouldn't the car have turned up by now?
We should wait until Cindy's done asking around the local garages before we despair.
Let's not fool ourselves. The Empire has it.
The regalia and all related features are unavailable until the car is found.
Maybe we could ask Arden to help us out again, right?
The Imperial Chancellor.
He represents a problem, not a solution.
So where does that leave us?
Stranded, awaiting word from Hammerhead.
In the meantime, we'll have to hoof it.
Look, it's Umbra.
The Haxathian's blessing. Approach Umbra.
Someone's sending us a message.
Chase after Umbra. And I have to know what happens with this dog. Alright, I'm gonna chase the puppy. Alright, puppy, come back. Come back now.
Hear me, O King of the Stone.
This is an interesting twist.
By the Stormsender's blessing, will the path to the stone be opened? The oracle goes hence in her king's name.
Luna,
The boys are too proud to get a rental.
where is she now?
We gotta rent some chocobos. Get in the
When
bush
covenant is forged,
with the
the
chocobos.
oracle and ring shall await their king at the walls of water. Stray not from the path.
She's a messenger. A spirit. Faithful to the Oracle.
For real?
We're going beyond real now, pal.
My prayers are with you, Noctis. We'll be right back. I received the blessing. Thank you. Seems like the nice thing.
No, I'm okay. And she won't have to wait much longer. We'll be together soon.
The crystal was gifted to mankind, that we might know lasting prosperity.
If the crystal belongs to everyone, how come only Lucis gets to use it?
The kings of Lucis do not simply use the crystal, they also protect it.
Wait, so my dad's guarding it?
Yes,
I
It's the final cutscene 15 right now.
Until that day, falls to the line of Lucis.
And I'm the chosen.
Yes, only the true king, anointed by the crystal, can purge our star of its scourge.
You really think I can do that?
As Oracle, I will see to it. To aid the king is the Oracle's calling.
Then I guess I can do it. I won't let you down.
I know you won't.
Unto the king alone this voice is heard. To follow the words is to follow the chosen path. Bridging heaven and earth it strikes, the storm's ephemeral yet eternal light. To the light must go the king.
Locate the 3 runestones of Ramu hidden across the sky.
Lady Lunafreya has done well to keep the ring from falling into enemy hands.
All we need to do is hit Altisha.
That entails passage aboard a ship. Kyan may serve us now as it did then then.
The hidden harbor. Just my work. I'll have Iris set it up.
So, in the meantime, head into the storm.
Alright.
Another day, another deity.
Okay, I think this will be it for today. Let's save the game. And boom. We'll go from there. Probably do some quests and stuff off stream, etc. But anyway, I might stream on Saturday. I don't know. The regular stream is going to be Wednesday from now on. And the reason for that is just I like to have Saturdays available for my family and to be able to do things with that. I'm still working on, I've had huge setbacks trying to finish this remodel of my garage. My garage came kind of half finished. So, yeah, now I'm working on getting that all the way finished, which has been, an interesting, odyssey. I'll say for sure. I might write an article or something on it. Learned a lot. You learn a lot when you're doing remodel projects that you haven't done before. If you haven't physically done that specific task before, which in this case it's a big garage and it was a lot of insulation to put up. And I would definitely say that doing insulation is something that I would never do again while I had things in the room to move around. Let's put it that way. That was definitely a huge pain. And like when you're doing a lot of insulation, you work it up in ceiling and stuff, you're going to get it on you and you're going to end up itchy. So it's better to do it in one day if you can do it rather than try to do it in like 8 days where each time you do it, you have to go like shower because you're itchy. So anyway, it's been an interesting experience doing that. But yeah, that's why I'm trying to do it on Wednesday from now on. I will be traveling into 2 weeks thereabouts for from some family stuff in California. And so I probably, if I'm streaming, it'll be like a pick up my phone and stream kind of thing, like Periscope, instead of like a real game stream or anything like that. But yeah, Final Fantasy 16 will be coming out, but I won't be able to play it at launch because I will have other stuff. I will have other stuff going on, unfortunately. So anyway, guys, take it easy. Have a good one. I'm going to link my Substack one more time because I will have that series on the corporate period and the arts, working on getting all of that stuff out. And then basically a short book worth of articles on 20th century art and how I define it and frame it so that it makes sense. How the period is defined, and it's really about that corporate patronage I talked about at the beginning of the stream. So thanks, guys. I'll see you all next time. I'll check my email in a minute. I appreciate the super chats. I really do. And yeah, have a great one.
Fight is on.